working on the podcast all the livelong day. I've been working on the podcast. Fuck what the experts say. Welcome to Push! Welcome back. This is episode 3, and I would like to let you know our topics for today. We will be continuing our conversation on Minnesota sports owners and their relevance in the sports arenas, the various sports arenas. In this episode, we're also going to be meeting with a new artist. His name is Take Two. He's hot. He's a nice rapper. Take Two. And then also on this podcast, we will be focusing on Darren Sharper and the dullard that he is. Darren Sharper, the dullard. I find that hilarious. Anyways, and we will get on with the show.
Nobody admits when they're wrong.
And it doesn't have to be Ziggy's job to be the one to fire someone. If he doesn't want to do that, if he wants to be everyone's fan, fine. You hire a guy to be your firer. You got to hire someone to be, to be the badass.
But you know he's a badass. He's in real estate.
Yeah. And it's
from the East Coast. He's a cutthroat type dude.
Jersey, he's willing to be cutthroat. But if he doesn't want to do that, if he wants football to be fun for him, fine. You bring in somebody to fucking be your rent collector.
Yeah.
You don't have. If you don't want to be the bad guy, that's fine. It's your money. It's your business. But you gotta have someone to do that. You gotta have a garbage man. Guess what? Spielman's garbage.
He's garbage. Get him out of there.
I mean, and you know what? Like I said, you can draft Ponder, but at this point, you should go. We're gonna.
Last year shouldn't have happened.
No.
He should not have been forced down our team's throat.
No.
4 games, too many games. After start number 2, they should have sat his ass down.
Well, and look at the stopgap shit they're trying to do. What's his name who came up from Tampa Bay? Freeman,
yeah.
Who at one point impressed me. That point is long past. I will say that.
He's gone. So now let's talk about Glenn Taylor.
Glenn Taylor. And it surprised me. Did you say he was like president of the board of governors?
He is chairman of the board of governors for the NBA for the owners.
How shitty a league do you have when a guy who got an enormous fine for cheating blatantly by paying a guy under the table, I think it was Joe Smith.
It was Joe Smith.
Joe Smith. He's like...
The guy who was drafted in front of Kevin Garnett. 4 picks in front of Kevin Garnett.
4 picks in front. Oh, I forgot that. Oh, my God. I forgot it was picked to him. Oh, that is a Sam Bowie situation as well. Not quite Sam Bowie levels, but
it's close.
It is ballpark. Let me say it that way. But yeah, he got a huge fine, and I think the team got some sanctions too.
We lost the draft pick for like 2 years, I think.
Yeah, because he's like, here's a $5 million contract.
Him and Kevin McHale
under the table. Yeah. So how does that guy, the only owner, as far as I know, in modern NBA history, going back to we're gonna say modern's the Bird Magic era forward, because before that it's a different game. Mm-hmm. The only owner in that time who I know got in trouble for cheating. Owner for cheating, and he is now the president or the chairman of the board of governors. How shitty is your league?
Well, how relevant is he as far as owners in the NBA?
You know what? Honestly, I like NBA owners because they're not as overly involved as baseball and football owners tend to be. I mean, you get a guy like Mark Cuban who's obviously involved, but he's not like, I'm publicizing himself constantly. He's probably the worst of the NBA owners in that regard, and he's not nearly as bad as like Jerry Jones.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like Jerry Jones, I think if he goes 2 days without being in the newspaper, he just dies a little inside. So that being said, it's hard to gauge how important he is to the league. I know to the community, he's more important than Ziggy because his businesses are Minnesota businesses.
Uh-huh.
I mean, call back to our buddy Shane.
Yeah.
He used to work for a company owned by Glenn Taylor.
Yeah.
And he's got businesses all over. Ziggy, all of his other money is in New York and New Jersey, and maybe Connecticut. But that whole area up there, he has no ties to this community, which I think is why everyone was so worried he was going to move the team.
Mm-hmm. That's the main reason. Yeah.
Honestly, after the North Stars moved, I think everyone in this state just became a bit of a little bitch about the possibility of losing a team because it happened to us. Like, we're more... I think cities that lose teams...
Well, it's happened to us a couple times.
Yeah,
the Lakers,
well, and I'm not going to go back to the Lakers because that was, 66 years ago. But it was a long fucking time ago. But no, teams that have or cities that have lost teams in the modern era, I think are more willing to throw money at an owner. For even like a mediocre. Look at the Twins. The Twins, the whole contraction thing, and I don't want the Twins to leave. Didn't want them to leave either, but I didn't want to build them a $400 million stadium to get a fucking 67 win team. That is not worth $400 million of taxpayers' money. I mean, there are potholes everywhere. We got other shit we can pay for as a community, and we're gonna build a thoroughly mediocre team, a stadium,
State of the art stadium.
State of the art. It's a beautiful stadium.
Yeah.
I haven't gone to a game, but I got to go on a day they weren't there.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful stadium, but they're a mediocre team at best, and that should not have been paid for by tax dollars. Or again, like I said, we should get the money back first.
Somehow.
Yes, get a percentage back until we're paid back, and then they own the stadium.
And I kind of get what you're saying about Glenn Taylor. Like, I don't exactly know what to make of him, but it's kind of like a love-hate thing.
He's
not like there's certain moves that I see him trying to make with the Timberwolves. I like the fact that he only let David Kahn fuck up for so long before he gave him the axe. He's like 3 years of fucking okay. Oh, I see. It's kind of like he was listening a little bit,
he paid attention.
To me, hollering at the wind. Like, why did we draft Ty Lawson just to trade him the same?
Like 10 seconds later.
Before the draft is over, and next year we're watching his ass in the playoffs. Yeah. It's like it's kind of like Taylor Sauter. Like, okay, I'm watching Ty Lawson in the playoffs. Who else did they trade away that same year? Oh, I'm watching Steph Curry in the playoffs, who we passed on. We took Johnny Flynn instead of Steph Curry. So I like Glenn Taylor for doing that right thing. Is firing David Kahn, but and I also like the fact that he brought Flip Saunders back. So it's kind of like a love. It was pretty much all hate.
He should have never let Saunders leave.
He should have never let him go, though. Exactly.
He's a great, great coach.
So it's kind of a love-hate thing with him. I wish he would be a little more hands-on with it. Would have been a little more hands-on with his former GM.
Not even him. Just his organization, which I think he is ultimately responsible for as the owner.
With him, it's starting to turn more into a love type of thing. Love kind of relationship. Because even if they don't find the head coach, they got Flip Saunders to lean on right now. You know, and I'm really interested to see what capacity he's gonna, what he's gonna do with this Sterling trial coming up on June 6th. Like they're having the first hearing of that. I'm interested to see what kind of role he plays in that.
That'll be interesting. And it's one of those where it'll be, and I don't even know if you can even really judge his role in that based on, because it's such an issue that is so clearly right and wrong. Like, I don't know anyone arguing for more racism other than racists. Like, no one's like, oh, no, it's fine. No one's arguing for that. So it's one of those where, like, even if, and I'm not saying he agrees with him at all, but even if he did agree with him at all, it's not like he's going to be like, no, I'm going to go easy on him. No, because you can't. Because it's not acceptable anymore, and thank God. But, I mean, just the way he comports himself, I think will tell us, and the way he interacts with
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I think, and I think Taylor. I know he's important. He's important to the community. I don't know how important he is to the NBA community, though. That's the question. Like, does the governorship? Does it like a rotating basis?
I mean, just the way that the report of the article I read, it just made it seem like he's been there for a while. I mean, it just made it sound like it was cemented, like Glenn Taylor.
Like, like Gene Upshaw back in the day with the NFL. Like, they could have changed leaders,
but they didn't.
But they were very happy with the leadership. So yeah, if it's one of those type of situations, then
he seems to be at least somewhat relevant in the league.
Yeah.
Even though his team's a laughing stock.
Yeah, the team is. His team, not so much.
So now, what about Jim Pohlad? When did Jim Pohlad take over?
When Carl Pohlad died, I'm guessing.
2009?
Would that have been that long ago?
Yeah.
Damn, that's been a long time.
Because you're not too fond of him, huh?
And I don't think they haven't done anything under Jim Pohlad to make me not hate him. All they've done is agitate for a stadium that they didn't pay for, and then suck terribly. I mean, just like they got down on their knees and just gobbled it up. They are just terrible. The nicest thing about them is the stadium, and that's not a good thing to say about a professional sports team.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard any stupid quotations of
I don't think
newspapers or anything. Yeah. But that doesn't make it, like you said, that's made me hate him. But I don't like him because we got the new brand spanking new stadium. We got a sorry ass team.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't care how old Joe Mauer gets. Put his ass behind catch. He's a catcher, man. That's what he does.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
Carlton Fisk played catcher till he was, I think, 907
Tell him
years
to
old.
stretch his nutsack out, man. Go take some yoga classes, motherfucker. Do
Yeah.
whatever, man. Get your ass stretched out.
Look,
Get your plate. Our team is subpar, and it seems like the
Well,
the
they
players
let
with
everyone
heart
leave.
Yeah, they let the players with heart leave.
Everyone leaves. I mean, you know, for every Joe Mauer that gets a good contract, you've got Johan Santana, you've got Kadire, you've got Justin Morneau. You've got Francisco Liriano. Why the fuck did they trade Francisco Liriano? Is he not a great pitcher still?
I think he's doing all right wherever he's at.
Yeah, last I saw Garza, I think Garza last year, his ERA was sub-4. But they let all of them go. One of them because they were too damn cheap, and that was Carl Pohlad. I'm going to blame Jim because he got the same last name.
Jim got rid of Liriano.
Liriano, after Liriano just came out just throwing fire. Oh yeah, and he got a little sore. Yeah, they let fucking Joe Mays recoup for 2 fucking years, and then come back and pitch for 2 years before they're like, oh, he's terrible now. Let's get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
They stuck around with his giant contract for forever, but Liriano, who was younger, who was better, as soon as the first sign of trouble, they dump him. They weren't even paying him that much. He was a bargain pitcher at the time.
Got rid of Denard Span.
Denard Span, thank you. I wasn't even in the positions yet. I mean, it was all pitchers. They just screwed up every pitcher they got. And I don't think I could name a Twins pitcher off the top of my head right now.
Oh, I don't know any of their lineup right now.
Yeah, right now I couldn't name a single Twins, and that's terrible because I loved baseball growing up. I mean, I loved it. I mean, every day, all summer long, pretending I was Kirby Puckett, the vacant lot down the block. Every single person who was in that batter's box, we were all Kirby Puckett.
Yes.
You know, there was nobody who was like, I want to be. No, it was everyone wanted to be Kirby Puckett.
Nobody wanted to be Lance.
Nobody wanted to be Dan Gladden. And nothing against Dan Gladden. Nobody wanted to be Ken Herbeck. Well, I don't like Ken Herbeck, but there's nothing against Ken Herbeck. Nobody wanted to be anybody but Kirby Puckett. I don't think little kids now are all clamoring to be Joe Bauer. Yeah.
Nobody want to be Shane Mack.
You mean Bizarro Kirby Puckett? Nobody was fighting to be those guys. Everybody wanted to be Kirby Puckett. I don't think kids today are arguing over who gets to be Joe Mauer.
No.
I don't think so. And the games are so expensive to go to that I don't think kids get brought to as many games as they should, because I think baseball is best appreciated by the really old and the really young. And the tickets, they're pricey. And old people are on fixed incomes. I don't think they can go to that many games. And young people, you can't bring your 3 kids with you to the ballpark. That's going to cost you like $200. There's 81 home games a year. $200 times that's a lot of money. Is what that is.
How does Jim Pohlad get into our better graces?
Get a better damn team. Or until there's a better team, go, you know what, we are terrible. We're going to cut prices.
That makes sense to me.
You got to be honest about it. I think I was reading a couple of years ago about there was an NBA team that did that. They went, we had a really bad year last year. We're going to cut our prices to apologize. They lowered prices because they were bad.
And how long were their Timberwolves tickets cheap as Evan Williams got them season?
When the Twins were real bad when we were in high school, they had student days where you could get the best seat available for $1. They need to bring that back because guess what? You're terrible. You used to be able to get upper deck season tickets.
And the last owner we're going to talk
$100.
about, how about Craig Leopold, the current owner of the Wild? He's not the guy who originally owned the team.
Yeah. I think he just bought him like a year ago, 2 years ago.
Like 2 years ago, I think. Craig Leopold.
You know what I love about hockey owners? I was talking about how the owners I like are the ones who aren't in the news constantly. The fact that we had to look up the name of the owner of the Wild just tells you that I think hockey owners are my favorite because they are never in front of the camera, except for like when Gretzky owned part of the Coyotes.
Yes.
Because it's fucking Wayne Gretzky owning a hockey team. I mean, that'd be like, if Hank Aaron bought part of the Braves. Like, oh shit, Hank Aaron owns part of the Braves. Hockey owners are more low key, and I think that's how owners should be.
They should be. They are the caretakers of the team.
Yes.
And like the caretakers of a great big like a graveyard or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't see them around too much.
No.
You see them just briefly watering the lawn or whatever, cutting down some hedges, and they're gone.
Yep.
But that's what the owners of a team should be like. They take care of the main shit, the big shit that needs to be behind the scenes type of things that you don't really need to hear about. And then somebody needs the axe.
Yep.
You show up unexpected during somebody's meeting. Somebody's acting the ass. That person gets the axe.
They absolutely should be. They are the custodians of these teams because these teams
belong to the city.
Yes, as we
belong to the people.
Yeah, as we've seen. Look at Cleveland. The Browns were terrible for a long time, but they were still heartbroken when they left.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It was because that was part of their municipal identity, and I think owners, because there is so much money involved, they're so flippant about it. I mean, like, you look at LA agitating for a team now, and one of the names that pops up periodically is the Vikings.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if the Vikings moved?
I'll never watch football again.
Yeah, that's just that. The NFL, I think, would be dead in Minnesota to many, many Minnesotans.
Mm-hmm.
We are indoctrinated to identify with these essentially mercenaries. So we root for their uniforms. So if those uniforms move, they don't understand how that impacts the community.
Yeah.
They just when they move the North Stars. What the fuck?
State of Minnesota with no hockey.
State of Minnesota,
the coldest state in the damn
not only
country.
the coldest state, but the home of the most
snowfall,
the most Americans in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yes,
Minnesota.
And now we have no professional hockey.
Look at the little town of Warroad up near the Canadian border. It's like every other year, every single Olympics, every single Winter Olympics, there's at least one person from this town, like 1,500, in the Olympics for the U.S. hockey team. Every year. I mean, if you look at the 1980 Olympic hockey team, the Miracle on Ice team, I think half of them were Minnesotans or went to Minnesota colleges.
Yes.
And the fact that we lost our hockey team to Dallas. They don't have ice in Dallas except for in drinks. Dallas.
Dallas Stars.
Yeah, and it's like hockey expanded too quickly, and if you don't have a winner, you probably don't have hockey fans. That's just a fact. I don't think anyone in Southern California really gives a shit about the Kings unless the Kings win. If the Kings win, suddenly they like the Kings. You know? Same with...
so they're watching now.
Yeah, they're watching now. Now. I mean, and you got some transplants in LA because it's a weird city, but you'll have transplants there who will care about hockey. But no, and overall, I like hockey owners, but this hockey, I don't understand why it's in warm states. I mean, I don't see Mexico agitating for a hockey team.
Oh, you're disgusting. We'll stop with that. You're disgusting. Thank you for joining us on this segment. He's talking about Mexico's climate and hockey weather.
I think we were talking about professional sports owners in Minnesota.
Next, talking about the Mexican bobsled team.
They're going to do big things. Next Winter Olympics, which is no one keeps track of. I don't even know where the next one is.
Yeah.
I know where the next 2 Summer Olympics are, but Winter Olympics, I don't know.
No one cares. Signing off. Peace! Dr. Twerkens. Oh, Professor Twerkenstein.
So I was sitting in the hospital the night my daughter was born, and just looking into her eyes, and it's just me and her, I began to think on the very existence of God, His very being, and what it took for both of our journeys to get there. And just want to share a little bit about how I'm convinced. I'm so convinced and I'm sure it's gotta be more to life than the obvious. Let's start at the core of the life that's inside of us. We didn't put us here, we were created from dust in the same image of the God who made the hemisphere. Make us something from nothing, gave us something for nothing. Left His heavenly home to reset this and button. This whole time I was fronting, trying to pretend it was me. They asked me how do I do it, I tell them now it is G. Hold D, cause He is working in me. His spirit flows, I feel it moving kinda like a hymn. Powerful, I know better now than to take the glory. Was narcissistic, He stepped in and He changed the story. And like a ship that's being tossed and swayed, I cried for mercy, He came through with amazing grace. And now forevermore, He'll always be my king. And if the wheels fall off, I'ma still ride this thing.
Forget what they say, I know He's out there, all around me, convinced my God is the truth. Forget what they say, I know He's out there, all around me, convinced my God is the truth.
I've always questioned unconditional love. How is it possible? That can only come from above. Into my heart it was tugged, He showed me different. He brought life into my life, that was the difference. It was the day of March 9th. He brought you in this world, you far exceeded much of the hype. I remember spending days and most nights painting pictures in my head, wondering who you were like. Is it mommy or daddy, maybe both, it doesn't matter. God gave me a family, recalling the gloomy nights full of pain and agony of losing both of my kids, asking why is this happening? Yeah, it's like I wished upon a star. I cried out to the heavens, he heard me, baby girl, here you are. And I love you more than anything in this world. Laura Rachel Lindsay, your daddy's little girl.
Forget what they say. I know he's out there. I'm all around me. Convinced my God is the truth. Forget what they say. I know he's out there. I'm all around me. Convinced my God is the truth.
I'm so convinced and I'm sure. How is it possible? I'm so convinced and I'm sure. How is it possible? That can only come from above. We didn't put us here. That can only come from above. It was the day of March 9th. He brought you in this world. You far exceeded much of the hype. More than the obvious. Let's start at the core. More than the obvious. Yeah, and if I ever start to lose my faith, I fall on bended knee, praying I receive your grace. Cause I would have to be a fool to ever doubt you. Nothing in this world without you I would amount to. And I don't care what they think of me. Sell my soul for the dough, tells me I'm not thinking. See, we could spend a lifetime in denial, but on that day, every knee will bow on your arrival.
Forget what they say. I know he's out there. I'm all around me. Convinced my God is the truth. Forget what they say. I know he's out there. I'm all around me. Convinced my God is the truth. Forget what they say. I know he's out there. I'm all around me. Convinced my God is the truth. Forget what they say. I know he's out there. I'm all around me. Convinced my God is the truth.
We act like we was at your house. It was man. It was like you were hosting a party at your house, and everybody, the characters just came in one by one. The story changed like a dozen times throughout the man. That was beautiful.
Oh,
so
man,
we
I
always
forgot
ready.
about that.
We always ready. And this is First. Welcome to First. And this is my guest of the day, Mr. Take Two. And we just talking about the old days before we got into hip hop. Well, we've always been part of hip hop. We've always been part of hip hop. You know, that's what we do. It's Twin Cities, bro. That's what we do.
What's going on?
You know,
Glad
we
to be here.
we've always been about hip hop. You know, even though we're spoken word artists, all my, you know, he's heard me spit before. All my spoken word always sounded like I was spitting some song that I didn't really write, but I did write. You know, on him, his when I first heard him, I was like, that dude's the truth. It sounded like it was a story. It sounded like a story, an epic story. And you know, every time he got on the mic. So man, how you been though, man?
I've been good, man. Been good. Just grinding on the daily right now, but I've been pretty good.
I'm glad. I remember seeing you in the mall a couple months ago with your beautiful wife. That was a blessing.
Yeah.
It was kicking it, man. It was cool. It's good to just bump into good people every once in a while, you know.
Yeah, we had that day free from the baby, so.
Oh yeah. You don't get too many of them, I bet.
Well, we do. To be honest, we do. A lot of people want to take her. A lot of our time is spent trying to fight to keep her. To be honest, we kind of like the opposite of
Y'all
parents.
blessed. Truly
Oh, yeah.
blessed.
Oh, yeah. So we spend most of our time trying to keep her with us.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, before we officially got back on the air, I just want to make a point. Me and Take Two was talking about how, you know, I don't know the proper terminology, but the appreciation that local artists do not get from their local citizens, like Minnesota. I'm just talking about Minnesota in general. I just said how people are quick as hell to go buy. They will be quick as hell to go buy $100, you know, 50-cent ticket, Janelle Monáe, a Ludacris, or a Beyonce ticket, but you won't support your local talent around here. It's $15, $20, you know, maybe $10, $15. You know, a lot of local shows, $7, $8, man. But you won't go to see good quality music around here and help somebody get on, so they have something to put on their resume. And that's why I made this show, so y'all can get a taste of what y'all got around here, you know. And what do you think about that, man?
I agree. I definitely agree with that. A lot of times, people will say, that there's no good music in Minnesota, but there's tons of good music on all many different levels. We just don't, like you said, don't get enough support from our local people to be able to push that out there. So, you get people, no disrespect to 50 Tyson or anything like that, but that's the kind of stuff that kind of gets pushed out there and further gives Minnesota a bad name when it comes to the music scene, when there's a lot of good quality artists that are out here. A lot of good people in St. Paul, Minneapolis, doing their own things individually or linking up between the two cities and, just making great music. And so I definitely would like to see more of us pushing and helping one another to kind of get out there.
Man, for real.
Make an impact in this music.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm glad that you're out there doing your thing, man. We need more people, especially people who. There's a lot of people who just got notebooks full of material, and they don't come out and they don't show it to everybody, But there's people who just need to just get out there and do their thing,
right.
And I'm glad that I finally got to have you up on here. So it moved you to go from spoken word to rapping.
Oh man, I've always been a music lover since birth. I've loved music. I always loved hip hop specifically, but I just felt like at the time I really didn't have anything to contribute. To be honest, what a lot of people don't know, I grew up actually listening to like gangster rap and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Listening to NWA and Eazy-E.
Yeah, we talked about
and
that.
Pop.
Me, you, and your pops.
Oh yeah. I grew up listening to that, but I wasn't gonna rap about that. I wasn't gonna be like a lot of people out here that rap about things that they don't actually live. So I felt like I couldn't contribute and actually do that because I didn't necessarily have a story. But then as I began to grow deeper in my faith and my walk with God, I began to see, okay, this is what I can talk about because this is who I am. And so for those that don't know, like he said, I go by the name of Take Two. I'm a Christian hip hop artist here in the Twin Cities, and so I just feel like that's my life, and that's the story that I can tell people. That's the encouragement that I can tell people, and the wisdom that I can give to people, and things like that, just through that particular avenue.
Cool, man. Cool. So what was the name of the group that you used to be in?
So it's a collective that we're still affiliated with,
Oh, okay.
and I'm still affiliated with, but we just kind of have different paths right now that we're focused on. But we go by Redeem Team. The members of that. Shout out to my guy Gideon. Shout out to my guy Just Saying. Like I said, we've at this point in time have decided, okay, let's go and focus on doing what you need to focus on. I know Just Saying is expanding his catalog and things like that with the direction that he's going. My guy Gideon, not only is he a vocal artist, but he actually does art. He actually does graffiti and he draws and things like that. And so that's really where his heart and his desire and passion is. And so he's focusing a lot more on that versus the music piece. And so for me, it's just an opportunity for me to kind of step outside from where I was at, what was comfortable at one point, and kind of really develop and expand and explore myself as an artist versus, kind of keeping everybody together. Really figure out what it is that I can do, individually on my own and see what that's like.
Cool, man. Cool.
You're the smile